Hello there, my name is Sherry Forsyth. I'm a peak performance coach, and one of the areas I specialize in is bereavement. And so today what I'm speaking about is there a right and wrong way, right or wrong way to grieve? In that many people get very handicapped in that they are told by whoever out there that they've done it wrong, and what that does is it adds to the pressure of an already very stressful situation. So the question is there a right and a wrong way to grieve? Our Western society is very broken in the way it deals with grieving. We are expected to be over it, in a week. We expected to be back at work, and in fact we are praised when we suppress the emotion. People will say, wow, she was so strong, she didn't even cry. Well, why wouldn't you cry if you have lost somebody that is really special to you? Surely you should feel sad. So the way our society deals with it is it praises us for not being sad. It praises us for being completely in control. It praises us for not showing our emotion. Well, surely that's broken. We need to have a look at how we are dealing with our grief. And why I'm speaking about this topic today is because so many people are made to feel that they're not doing it wrong, or they're taking too long, or they're crying too much or too little, whatever it may be. And so however they are doing the grief, it is seen as being wrong. So I want to start off by saying really strongly, there is absolutely no right or no wrong way of grieving. The way that is right for you is the way that you can deal with it authentically. Many people advise on how to grieve, and I think the important thing to know is that no two people will grieve in the same way. So even if you might be experiencing the same loss, so for example, my husband and I dealt with the same loss in that it was a loss of our daughter. Our remaining daughter, Kathleen, was not suffering from the same loss. She was suffering from the loss of a sibling. Okay, but in the loss of Kerry, with the fact that Mike and I were suffering the same loss, you never grieve the same way. So even if you are suffering the same loss, the way you deal with it, what you do to make yourself feel better, will be very, very different. Okay, so I think that it's important to know that there is no set way to do it. There is no right way to do it. And I think what kind of contributed to us feeling that there must be a right or wrong way was the supposedly 5 stages that Elizabeth Kubler-Ross speaks about of grieving. If you're interested in that, go and look at my previous videos on exactly that, where I'm questioning, are there 5 stages or are there more? And the answer to that question is actually they're not stages, they're different states of grieving. They're different emotional states. But we don't have to follow those 5 stages of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross in order at all. Okay? Grief is really messy. It's not clear, it's not logical. We can be very angry the one day, we can be hugely irritated the next, we can have relatively peace and calm the next. So the process is messy, and we are made to feel we're doing it wrong because we are experiencing the fact that grief is in fact messy, and we feel we should be able to be doing it in a much more logical, much more sane, much more ordered way. Well, no, grief is messy. There is no right and wrong way. And the way that you are doing it, providing you're not suppressing your emotion, is the right way for you. Okay, so some people cry, other people don't. Some people are incredibly volatile, other people aren't. Some get very angry. How dare you have died? I need you at my side. So some people are angry, some people aren't angry. Some people are able to work through their grief. In other words, they read lots of books and they get lots of information and knowledge, and that works for them. But for someone else, they don't want actually to read too much about the grieving. Okay? So the way we respond is very much determined by who we are as people. And I think the important thing to mention as well is that grieving is a normal response when you've lost someone. And our society kind of makes us feel that we're a bit weak if we cry, or if we're not over it, within 2 weeks, then, surely you must be over it by now. Well, no, it takes as long as it takes. But also it is a very normal response because we felt so much for that person who has died and they're no longer with us anymore. So we try and pretend that it's like a condition that needs to be medicated, or that you are ill because you are grieving. No, it's normal. You are missing that person, and you're missing them desperately because you love them so much. Okay, so it is a normal process. It's expected. But the problem is that our Western society doesn't expect it. It is silenced. It is dealt with in the hospitals. You are expected to just get on with your life. And that is all bringing you huge kudos in our very warped way of looking at things. Okay, so what we need to realize is it's normal. We must feel what we need to feel. We must do what we need to do. One of the guidelines that I found really valuable in this process is if I was unsure of whether I should do something or not do something, I would go within and see what it felt like. For example, let's say the thing of clearing out somebody's room or cupboards after they have died. It's a huge thing to do. Some people can do it immediately, and that works for them, so that's good. Other people take 6 months, and that worked for them, so that's also good. But getting back to that, if we go within, so I would wake up on the day and think, okay, so I had planned that today I'm going to clean out Kerry's room. How do I feel within my body? Do I feel really traumatized by it? Do I feel really heavy? Is there this sort of sinking feeling in my gut? Or am I feeling I can do this? And I used that as my guide as to what I did and what I didn't do. Go within and ask yourself, how am I feeling about this? Can I do this today? And if you can't do it today, that's fine. You can do it tomorrow or next week or next month. There is no prescribed way of grieving. There is no order in the way you do things. It must work for you. So you need to tap into that internal wisdom of knowing what you need. So you don't have to listen to the advice of someone who lost their pet and they are now telling you what worked for them. You don't have to listen to that or take their advice. What you need to do is, what do I actually need? So some people might need to sleep a lot because grieving is very hard work. Well, listen to your body and sleep. Some people might need to be social and surrounded by a lot of their friends. That works for them. So what makes the whole grieving process easier for you is if you listen to what you need and apply it. Okay? Listen to what you need. Do I need to write? Do I need to cry a lot? Do I need to be on my own? All of those things are going to be incredibly different depending on who you are as a person. So I think what I'm trying to say is that there's no bulletproof way of moving through your grief. You have to do it personally and individually and listen to yourself. So to quote Peter Lynch, the only way through it is through it. And negotiate it in a way that works for you. that will help you to be able to move through your grief in order to start engaging with life again. Okay, so do it your way. And I am doing a whole theme this month of June on bereavement. So if you are interested in other questions like are there 5 stages of grief, or are there more? I'm speaking about, next week I'm doing a talk about men and grieving. I've interviewed some authors that you can go and have a look at what they're saying about their grieving process. And then watch the space for next week, where I have interviewed my beloved on how he coped with the grieving process. So what I'm trying to do is to open the discussion so that people learn that you can actually grieve differently and there's no set way of doing it. And more importantly, that we can speak about it. That it is a topic that has been very taboo. And what I'm trying to do is blow the silence off the topic of grieving. So I hope that you found this video to be beneficial. If so, as always, I really welcome your comments, your questions. Please feel free to add those in the comment box below. If this video you found valuable and you think it might be able to help somebody else, please share it. I would really appreciate that hugely. And as always, thank you so much for your time.